Beyond the headlines and media coverage, theories and speculations of any YouTube channel, myself included, or court of public opinion, including all persons of interest that landed on police radar about this very important case since 2017, we must never forget what matters most. The lives of two teenage girls, Libby-Richard and Abigail Williams, which ended on that sad and tragic February afternoon, after unfortunately meeting their fates at the hands of a monster. He ended their hopes and dreams and the right to grow up and lead their own lives. He denied them and their loved ones of birthdays, holidays, graduations, weddings, children, grandchildren, and even most likely a rite of passage of all young people, a first kiss. They will be forever young, forever missed, and forever loved, every single day by their families and friends for the rest of their lives. And even when justice is served, it will never bring them back to their loved ones. And for nearly 6 years, allegedly, the monster who took their lives has been living arrogantly in plain sight, in the same community where people have had to worry about their own children while unknowingly interacting with him at a busy establishment where he worked, including the girls' grieving families. What matters now is that the man arrested 2 weeks ago is the right person, and that he remains in protective custody so he can be proven guilty and brought to justice and face the punishment that he deserves. Although the case remains sealed, do you believe they have the right person in custody? Because a suspect has finally been arrested, who remains presumed innocent until proven guilty, I trust that law enforcement obtained the evidence they needed that will secure a conviction, and justice will soon be served. And that is what matters the most. The day of reckoning, justice for Libby and Abby, and their families. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're a first-time viewer, I'm happy you found me. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, and click the notifications for new content. Again, welcome, and let's get into the story. An arrest has been made in connection to the Delphi murders in Delphi, Indiana, when two innocent young teenage girls of Delphi, Indiana, Libby-Richard and Abigail Williams, lost their lives at the hands of a cowardice murderer who has been living and hiding in plain sight for nearly 6 years, only living a short distance from where he violently stole their lives and promising futures. There have been thousands of videos made about this case by true crime podcasts and channels, web sleuths, even countless video journeys to the location. But I have always followed the unsolved case closely, hoping the monster who did this would be brought to justice. I think most of us know the story, but on February 13, 2017, 14-year-old Libby and 13-year-old Abby, who were also best friends, visited the Monon High Bridge walking trails in Delphi, Indiana, when they noticed at some point after crossing the bridge that a strange man was approaching from behind at a fast pace. Libby bravely took out her phone and recorded him. We have all seen the footage and heard the short audio clip of him commanding the girls to go down the hill. Their bodies were found the following day, about a half-mile from the bridge near Deer Creek. Police have never revealed many details concerning the investigation or the cause of death, other than, and I'm quoting, a significant amount of blood was found at the scene, and the short video clip of the suspect along with a brief audio recording of the killer's voice. Law enforcement has remained tight-lipped in releasing too much information to the public, claiming it could jeopardize the investigation. When I read the headlines that a suspect named Richard Allen was arrested, to be honest, I was shocked. One of my theories was that this case may never be solved, that the killer could very well be dead, say from illness or an accident. A lot of things can happen in 5 years. It is not uncommon for cold cases to be solved years down the road, only to find out that the perpetrator already died. When COVID made its ugly debut to the world, many people passed away. Plus, there are other illnesses that are deadly, for example, cancer. COVID took the life of Ron Logan last year. In the early investigation, Logan was considered a person of interest, and the girls' bodies were found on his property. Eventually, he was eliminated as a suspect. Plus, Ron Logan was a 77-year-old man, much older than the person in the video appears. I really always believed whoever committed this crime was from Delphi, and since he had not been caught, it was possible he was dead, either by illness or an accident, even possibly suicide. Also, it had to be someone who knew the area and the trails, including that terrifying 70-foot tall old dilapidated bridge, so he was very familiar with the area. And someone had to know him, especially from the video and audio footage. I just can't fathom how a guy that's been living in Delphi this entire time with a wife and kids decided to go out one day and murder 2 teenage girls. And apparently, Richard Allen visited the bridge often. I won't post the picture, but I found a photo on his wife's Facebook page of his own daughter sitting and posing for a picture on the high bridge, the same one Libby and Abby crossed on the last day of their lives. I want to know what his motive was. Was this a crime of opportunity by a deranged individual, or did a deranged individual plan this ahead of time? How did he live with himself after the fact? How did he live with his wife and kids and resume a normal life in the presence of his family, friends, and co-workers? How was he able to visit bars and restaurants and attend family gatherings like birthday parties and holidays? How the f*** did he sleep at night? I mean, yeah, it does happen. People who kill can lead a double life. This gave me chills down my spine, but I watched a video this morning that showed a photo of Richard Allen in a bar. His wife had taken a photo of him, and right behind him on the wall was the composite sketch, the second one that the police released. And he is sitting there, smiling for the camera with this police artist sketch on the wall behind him. So obviously, this pictured event happened after the murders took place. You may ask, how in the world, if he is the killer, was he able to resume a normal life and most likely show no signs he was ever involved? Most people would say it's because people who murder are sociopaths, and you would be correct. Then there are some cases where that psycho can also convince himself he never committed a crime, repressing the memory as if nothing ever happened, even though this case was high profile nationwide, and he had to see and hear about it in his own town every day. As a matter of fact, I saw a news clip this morning where a reporter is standing in front of the exact CVS that Allen worked for, and apparently the wanted posters for the Delphi murder case are posted inside, so he had to walk by them every day that he was at work. And also, if he is capable of murdering 2 young innocent girls, has he done it before? Or since? Or was this just a one-time out-of-the-blue occurrence, something he perhaps fantasized about, then suddenly acted on an impulse? Or did we have a serial killer in the making on our hands that only stopped because of the high publicity in this case? In most cases, this type of crime is usually committed by a sexual predator and serial killer combination. People that have compulsions to kill and are unable to stop until they are either caught or die. This is why I felt that since no more murders of teenage girls happened afterwards in that town, that we know of, that maybe the killer was dead. Because usually in this type of case, especially when the perpetrator isn't related to the family, such as a family member or friend, they are usually serial killers. Otherwise, he would have been caught by now, one would think. Maybe, if Allen truly is the killer, he did plan to kill more. Killers have been known to go on long hiatus before striking again. Or maybe he decided to try and lay low because of the case's high-profile nature, and to stay hidden and off the police radar. As I said before, hiding in plain sight. If Richard Allen is indeed the culprit, how was he able to live in the same town, near the bridge, and work in a CVS that most likely even the family members of the victims had to encounter at times? Now, the family wouldn't suspect him if they didn't know him. But with that brave move on Libby's part to take the video with her phone, a bridge guy walking across and recording his voice, how did his friends, co-workers, and his own family not recognize him or his voice? Allen is married with kids, which is not uncommon for killers, especially serial killers. I can understand his family may have had reservations about the released footage, but choose to live in denial instead. But as friends and co-workers, it would seem that at least one of them would have tipped off the police about this guy, and maybe they did. But as far as I understand, Allen was never a suspect until recently. The case has taken an interesting turn, to say the least. Law enforcement obviously have something on him to be able to arrest him as a suspect. If he is the guilty person, I hope the justice system gets it right. And once he faces a trial and a jury of his peers, or whether he ends up confessing, he could plead guilty for all we know. I hope justice is served fairly. And there is still that question that remains. Is Keegan Kline, who became the investigation's main focus in the past, because of the fake account he made, the Anthony Shots profile, to lure in young girls, is there a connection to that? I hope for the sake of the families that the day that got Richard Allen was the day, and that soon justice will be served for Abby and Libby. For new content and breaking news stories, please be sure to click the notifications to follow along and be notified when updates are available. Don't forget to like, comment, and please feel free to share. You can also join my Facebook group for True Crime and History Time and follow me on TikTok and Instagram. My usernames for those platforms are @JerryScarborough Official. And as always, thank you for watching, subscribing, and supporting my channel.